Good morning, everybody. This morning I was about to prepare a new journal. I had this book that I rescued from our school library, and I thought, as I was about to start, that maybe you all would like to see how I prepare a book, so that if you ever get your hands on some old thrift books or thrift store books or library books and you want to know how to get started, you can follow these steps, and it's pretty simple. So if your book is a hardback like this one, it probably has a dust cover or a dust jacket, and it's very easy to remove. There's usually some tape, so you just cut it off, which I already did this morning, and throw it away. Or maybe inside is a nice image, like this one, of the Golem. You might want to save that to use on a spread inside of your journal later. So I have a huge collection of those kinds of things. Inside, you're going to notice you've got, your inner dust, your inner cover. You've got your cover page. These two are usually kind of stuck together with some glue kind of close to the binding, so I usually leave those alone. But if you look inside of your book, if you kind of turn it sideways, you're going to see the signatures. The signatures are the sections of pages that make up the book. And what I like to do is I like to tear out every other signature. And the reason we do that is because if you don't take any pages out of this book block, when your journal is done, you're going to have a book that's about, 4 inches fat that doesn't close, depending on how much you like to put on your pages. And some of my pages I really like to build up, so I like to leave myself plenty of space for that. So what you need to do is look at the book block, and this morning I already tore out one before I decided to make this video, so I'm already missing one, but you can kind of find them. Let's see if I can find the next one here. Kind of have to look down inside. Here's one I tore out, so I'm going to leave the next one, and you just kind of use your fingers and get in there. And if you're not sure, you can find, let me see here, I think I'm at the end. You can find the end of the signature. It's kind of, this whole big section. So this whole thing is one signature right here. And that one is what I want to tear out. Now, some people are really careful when they tear out their pages, and they don't want to rip the thread that's in the center. I really don't care about it, because if I tear it, I'm just going to use some masking tape later to tear to support the binding anyway. So I'm not so concerned about tearing the strings that have sewn the book together. So I am just going to rip this out, and you'll kind of see those strings popping up. You need some force. Save those pages, and then leave the next signature section in, and find the beginning of the next one, which for me is this last signature here. And I kind of like working with these smaller kids books. If you're getting out, a big Danielle Steele novel or something that's really thick, you're going to have a lot of pages to take out. And then you're still stuck with a lot of pages inside that, you feel obligated to fill. So those kind of thick journals are fine if you don't mind an ongoing project that lasts years and years and years. So I'm going to tear out this last one. Whoops. Shaking the whole table. And that's it. If you look at the side of mine now, you're going to see that there's some space in between, and the book closes nicely. It's about, it's probably about a third as thick as it was before. So I've made a lot more space for my pages. So what I would do now is I would go through, and any pages that have these loose strings from the binding, I would probably just tape over. And those of you that know me know that I love my tape. And masking tape is one of the best tools that you can have in your visual journaling arsenal. So I would just get this down inside the crevice here, and I use one of these. This came from Home Depot. It's a laminate sample from the countertop section, but it's really nice to kind of, get down in that crevice, scrape, and really make sure that it adheres. And yes, it matters what kind of masking tape you use. Some have really low tackiness, and that's not what you want. You want something that's going to really stick well. 3M, Scotch, that's what this is. Those are really good brands. They tend to stick the best. So I would just go through here, and of course you could put it on a little straighter than I did. And you could even do a couple pieces across just to help support it more. Didn't quite get that. And I would just go through, and any pages that I think are not stuck together well, I would go through and tape. Now most of the pages in your signatures that you left should be fine. It's those pages that separate, you know, one signature from the next where we tore out. Those are the ones you really want to hit. So if you have a book, okay, so let's say I've gone through and taped up all my bindings. If you have a book that has pretty thick pages, like this one is pretty nice and thick, you can work right on these pages. I would probably apply a little bit of gesso, white or black, depending on what background color you want to start with. And then, but if you have thin pages, you're going to want to use a glue stick, and you're going to want to glue together 2 or 3 pages to kind of make a sturdy, thick page that's ready to accept all the materials you're going to put on top of it. So that would be the next step for me, and I would highly recommend Yoo-Hoo. This is the best glue stick I have found. It glides really nicely, you don't get a lot of the big blobs, and it sticks really well. So I would go through next and glue together my pages. I would gesso on top of that probably, and then I'm really ready to go. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial on how to start a book. Now that you know how to do this, you can do this with practically any book. So have fun creating.